Hi guys, welcome to Meroleg Royal Garments House, Abuja, Nigeria, home of modest outfits. I am Mercy Acho and welcome to my channel. Also welcome to today's tutorial. If you just come across my channel, you are very welcome. And please do subscribe, as this channel will help enhance your skills in dress making. And to my DIY fam, you know you are dearly loved, right? Thank you so very much for your support always. So guys, today's tutorial will be on how to sew this beautiful waist drape agbada bubu gown with waist belt to give it that elegant shape and classy side pocket for effigy. If this is what you are interested in, please sit patiently and watch this video till the end. All right, guys, so let's get started. So to begin to sew this dress, this is what we will do. So let me shift it closer for your proper view. So guys, to begin to sew this dress, this is what we will do. So here is the folded area, right? Where we will be constructing our drape, all right? Or forming our drape, all right? Okay, so we are going to remove these pins. Remember, I used my pins to hold this little piece down to the dress. So we are going to pull these pins out at this point, like so. And then we will open up the dress this way. And so we'll bring out this little piece. You see the reason why I asked us to notch, right? So that by the time you're placing it back to the dress, the notches will guide you on how to lay this little piece back to this dress appropriately. All right, at this point, we are going to open up the dress. Like so. So this is the middle, right? All right. This is our middle. And so I'm going to bring this little piece I removed from here. I'll open it up like so. I'm going to turn it over because the right side has to face me. This is the back side of the fabric, so it has to be on the right side. All right, take note, it has to be on the right side. All right, so I'm going to bring this little piece here, the right side facing the right side. I'm going to lay it on this cycle, following my notches on the dress and on this little piece. So don't forget the right side facing the right side of the fabric, like so. So make sure it lies appropriately. And now at this point, I'm going to use my pins to hold it all together so it doesn't shift from its position. So pin it round, pin it all the way round. This is for easier sewing, all right? So that it will be easier for you to sew without the fabric shifting here and there. Okay, so after pinning this round, I'm also going to pin the interfacing to the dress. The right side of the interfacing facing the dress, like so. So I'm going to use my pins as well to hold it down together, just so to keep it in place, so it doesn't shift from its position, like so. All right, guys. The next thing to do is I will take it to the sewing machine, use half an inch to sew all the way this way and then this way. I will then notch after sewing it, notch it all the way down and then top stitch. I want to believe at this time, if you have been following my tutorials, you now understand what top stitching is all about, right? All right, so that is what we will do. And then to the circle down here, we will do the same thing. We will use our half an inch to sew all the way around. After that, you will notch. When you notch it, you will also top stitch. So at this point, I will take it to the sewing machine, do just that, and then I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like, and then I'll let you know what next to do. So guys, as you can see, I've joined this piece to the dress, and I've also sewed the interfacing to the dress. Like I said, we are going to notch. So you will notch this way. This is just for my beginners, all right? They might not understand what it means to notch, so I have to give them example, all right? So for my beginners or to my beginners, this is what is called notching. To notch this way, tear it a little close to this thread here, these stitches here. So you do that all the way around, all right? All right, guys, so I've done that all the way around. We are going to repeat the same exercise to the neck part of this dress, all right? Like so. If you get to this place, this V, make sure you cut it all the way very close to the stitches, all right? Like so. This will help the interfacing to lie appropriately by the time you're turning it over like so, inward, all right? If you don't do that, you're going to find it difficult to turn this over to the dress. All right, so let's continue. All right, guys. So at this point, we are going to, I'm going to take it back to the sewing machine and then I will top stitch. So I'm going to show you how to top stitch for my beginners, just in case you are yet to learn that. So to top stitch, you will take, this is the interfacing and this is your sewing allowance. So you will flip the sewing allowance over to your interfacing and then you will sew a little away from this stitch here, a little away from this stitch here. You sew it all the way like so, your V upward, and you will do the same thing to this other side. So you will take it also to the sewing machine, flip this over, and then begin to top stitch all the way round. At this point, you can follow me to the machine. Let's do just that. So guys, here we are. Let's begin the top stitching. So like I said, flip this allowance over to this other side, this way, and then begin to sew on top of this your sewing allowance here, like so. So here is the top stitching. You actually can't see the thread because the fabric is also dark, but this is the top stitching around this area here. So the purpose for this top stitching is just to help keep your interfacing in place when you fold it this way, this direction. It helps the interfacing to lie appropriately. So it will not be popping outside, all right? It won't be popping over to your dress, making it look very unprofessional, all right? So this is what we are going to do to the circle part of it. You flip it over like so, and then you do your top stitching like so. So you top stitch all the way around, and then you will appear back to where you started from, and then you back stitch. All right, guys, so at this point, let me show us what next to do. So guys, at this point, this is what to do next. We are going to flip over this circle inward like so. This direction like so. To this direction. The same thing to the neck part of this dress like so. I will take it right now to the table and give it a very good press. Turning it to this direction, this way. And then I'll give it a very good press like so. This way. The same thing to the neck part. And then I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like. And I'll also let you know what next to do. So guys, I have ironed everything, and this is what it looks like. All right, this is what it looks like. I've also ironed the interfacing, and at this point, for the interfacing, I have used hemming gum to hold it together so it won't be flying here and there. To this other side, I didn't use any hemming gum because we will be needing a hole around this area to insert our bias to create our drip for this dress. All right. All right, guys. The next thing to do is to create our hole whereby we can pass the bias round. And to do that, we are going to mark again our half length. In this case, I'm working with 16 inches. And when you're marking it, remember there is half an inch upward where you will be using to sew your shoulder together, which is called shoulder sewing allowance. So make sure that there is half an inch upward here. All right, you can see where my tape is placed. I didn't bring it up all the way to the end. There is half an inch somewhere here. So place your tape like that to mark your half length. So this is the half length I'm working with, 16, like so. From this 16, I'm going to come down by half an inch, like so. So from this point here, I'm going to place my tape from this direction downward, marking half an inch all the way around to meet with this 16 inches. We are trying to create a hole whereby we can fix our bias to construct our drip for this gown. All right, so I'm placing my tape this direction, marking half an inch like so. So I'm going to do that all the way around, like so. And then I will connect the dot all the way to meet this 16 inches, and then here will be open. All right, I will connect the dot all the way around, and we will have a circle here to meet with this 16 inches, and we will have an opening here, and this space here also is going to be an opening. Now let me join the dots. All right, so here is open. Now the next thing to do is to get our bias. We've already cut the bias while we were drafting this dress. So this is the belt here. Now to create a tiny bias that will pass through this hole, this is what to do. We will fold this part inward like so, and then you will also fold this other side of the fabric to this direction like this. You give it a good press all the way around, and then you will now fold it again in the middle this way. Give it a good press all the way down. All right. Okay. At this point, I will do just that. I will also take this dress to the sewing machine, stitch it around this chalk circle, and then I'll stop here. There's going to be an opening here. I'll also work on the belt that will turn to be a bias, and then I'll bring it back for us to see what it looks like, and then I'll tell us what next to do. So guys, I have sewed around the circle. This is what it looks like, and this is where I stopped my stitches. Here is open, and to the belt, the bias that will be going around this hole, this is it. See how tiny it has become. All right, so this was how it was. I folded this part inside and this inside to the middle also this way, and it has become this tinier. The next thing to do is to take it back to the sewing machine, stitch all the way to the end, from the top down to the end. All right, so I can seal it together. That way, nowhere will be opening to disrupt my work. So right now, I'm taking it to the sewing machine. I'll do just that, and I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like. All right, guys. So I'm back with this bias. Now, the next thing to do here is to fix it round. To do that, I'm going to use my safety pin this way. Then I'll fix it around. So I will fix it here. And then this is what we will do. All right. This hole here, there's an opening here. Remember, we didn't close this place, right? So let me shift it closer for your proper view. Anything for you. Anything for you. You know you're special, right? Very, very special. All right, guys. So this is what we are going to do. Remember, we are still in the process of creating our drape. All right. Okay, so there's an opening here, and this is the purpose, where this is where our little safety pin is going to pass all the way around. So I'm fixing it here. I hope you can see. Like, you can see, right? Okay. So I'm going to fix it all the way around, like so. So you see the reason why we marked our half an inch. We just simply created a hole to fix our bias. So it's going to go all the way around like so. Gently and patiently do it. This way, like so. So it's going all the way around, all the way around. So yeah, we are here. So I'm going to pull this way because it's going to appear here where we started from. And this is it. So adjust and drag it out. This is it. So I'm just simply adjusting to make sure this side is longer as well. All right. So I'm going to lie it appropriately and then continue dragging the bias to form the drip appropriately, like so. So you can see that it's already forming, right? Looking very beautiful, just the way I wanted it to come out. It's giving me that beautiful drip. So now, however you want the drip to be is totally your choice. If you want it scanty, then this hole is going to be a little bigger. If you want it more, then you have to adjust it using this bias, all right? So adjust it to your desired look. Whatever it is you want it to look like, adjust it to that. So this is what it looks like. Okay, guys. Now, to the person that requested for this video, what your design is that this place is open, all right? But in my own case, I don't want to leave this place open. I'm going to cover it up with time and I will show us how to do that, all right? If this is what you want, then at this point, this is what you will do. Because the picture you sent to me has an opening here. So if that is how you want your design to be, to have an opening here, then at this point, this is what you will do. After dragging this or adjusting your drip to how you want it to be or to your desire, the next thing to do is to bring these two sides of the bias together like so, all right? You will take it to the sewing machine and then stitch this place together, and then you will cut out the excess, all right? You will cut out the excess. And then the next thing to do is to bring the back side of this dress. You turn it like so, this way. The back side, the right side facing the right side. And then you will join the shoulder, all right, using your 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do that. If that is what you want, then when I'm done with still creating this hole, you will use that pattern to join every other part in case you don't want this hole closed, all right? Okay, so let's continue. All right, so in my own case, I don't want any part of my body showing, so I'm going to close this hole. Now I will show us how to do that. So to close this hole, remember the circle we cut out earlier, right? So now the time has come for us to use this piece here. We are going to use this piece to cover up this hole, all right? So to do that, so before we will cover up this hole, I will take this dress to the sewing machine, stitch this area here, cut the excess out, all right? And then I'll bring it back to show us what next to do. I have sewed the two sides of the bias together, and then I'm going to cut out the excess away. Careful so you don't cut out your fabric or your dress. So the next thing to do is to cover up this hole. I'm going to use this fabric to cover up this hole like so. This is the right side, all right? This is the wrong side. This right side has to appear to this other right side. So it has to correspond. All right. I hope you it's very clear. The right side, you cover it this way. So it's going to appear facing this other side of the dress. So it's going to correspond with the right side here. All right. So at this point, I'm going to use my pins to hold this circle, this fabric and this dress together. All right, like so. This is just so it doesn't shift. Hold it together so it doesn't shift. All right. Now that we have pinned this together to the dress, at this point, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. All right. And then I'll turn it this way to sew. I'll turn it this way to sew, following the first stitch we made to create this drape. So you're going to sew on top of that thread, all right? You're going to sew on top of the first stitch you made that you created hole where your bias passed from. So that is the stitch you're going to sew on top. This is just so you won't have too many stitches around this area. It won't be nice, all right? So try as much as you can to sew on top of this first stitch you made here, all right? Good. So I'm going to do that and then I'll bring it back for you to see. So guys, as you can see, I have stitched this around and this is what it looks like on the outside. The hole is covered and this is how it looks like behind, like so. So the next thing to do is to cut out this fabric, all right? Make sure the length is like this other one, the down part, like so. You're going to trim the excess to the length of the down part of this fabric, like so. Be careful so you don't cut your dress by accident. So you cut it all the way around, following the length of the down part of this piece. So carefully cut it so that you don't have to destroy your dress by cutting it accidentally. All right, guys. All right, so this is what it looks like right now. And so at this point, I'm going to take it to the weaving machine. I will bring these two pieces together like so, and then weave it all the way around, and then it will become one piece. All right. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to bring the back side and the front side together to join it. So I'm going to turn it like so. So this is the back side. I have also sewed the interfacing top stitch, and this is what it looks like, just like what we did at the front side. So I'm going to bring the back side this way, the right side facing the right side. So like so. And like so. I hope you can see. And then I'll pick up this side like so. We will use our ½ inch that we left at the upper part to join the shoulder. I'll sew it from the beginning of this shoulder and then I will stop here where we have our sleeve, our round sleeves, all right, at this place. So this is going to still be open. Remember, this is our round sleeve, right? Sew it here this way, using your 1/2 inch from your shoulder all the way. You will stop here. So I will take it to the sewing machine at this time. Do just that to both sides of the shoulders. And then I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like. And I'll also let you know what next to do. All right, guys, as you can see, I have joined the shoulders. I've joined the shoulders. So this is what it looks like. This is it. And this is this other one. Right now, the next thing to do is to tidy up our round sleeves, like so. So at this point, I'm going to use bias to do that. I'm going to use bias to pipe the round sleeves, like so. Hope you can see. So this is the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to use bias to place it like this, to pipe the sleeves, the round sleeves, like so. And then like so. So by the time I sew it this way, I'm going to sew it this way all the way to the end, and then I'll flip it over like so. I'll flip it over like so, and then I'll stitch it round, okay? I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like. From there, I'll let us know what next to do. I'm going to do this to both sides of the sleeves. So guys, I have sewed the round sleeve. Now let me show you how it looks like. So for this, I have sewed it. You can see how it looks like. And you can see this way. And to this one, I am yet to complete it because I want to show you how to fold it right inside before top stitching. So you can see that I just attached this bias, but I have not tidied it up yet. So after sewing this bias to the fabric, you will have to notch, all right? Notch all the way round. And then the next thing to do is to fold this bias this way inward, like so. And then you top stitch all the way to the end, all right? I'm going to do that right now, and it will be just like this one. Then I will tell us what next to do. So guys, I have done just that, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing to do right now is to sew the sides, all right, like so. This is our sleeve. So you bring it over to this other side, and then you will use your 1/2 inch and sew all the way down. You will do the same thing to the other side of the dress, all right? So I'm going to do just that. Thereafter, I will hem the down, and then I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like, all right? Good. So guys, here is the dress. Here is the dress, and this is what it looks like. I've sewed the sides, and here is our sleeves, round sleeves. So you wear it like so, and this is where your hand will come out from. I have also hemmed it down, and this is what it looks like. So guys, to fix the belt that will give us fittings for elegant look, this is what to do. We will fold this dress as it is like this, right? As it is like this, we will fold it into two, like so. Make sure to adjust it appropriately. So this neck area, make sure they align appropriately. Adjust just the way I'm doing here. All right, so after adjusting the dress appropriately, the next thing to do is to mark from your shoulder seam allowance downward to the end of your bust, which is known as under bust length. All right, you place your tape this way from your shoulder seam allowance downward to the end of your bust. All right, to the end of your bust, which is known as under bust length. And then you will mark. In my own case is 13 inches. You mark. The next thing to do, you will divide your under bust round, which is the round part of the end of your bust. You're going to divide it into four. Whatever you have, you place it from the folded area like so to this direction. All right. So in my own case is 32 inches. Now 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches, right? So I'm going to place my tape from the folded area in front like so. I'm going to place it like so. And then I will mark just the way you see me doing here. The next thing to do is to place your belt here. Now, these are the belts. So this one is still on the rough side. Meanwhile, this one I have turned it right inside out and it is the right side that is showing. So I'm keeping this aside for now. The wideness of this belt on fold is 2 inches, all right? But when you open it wide, it's 4 inches. And then the length is 36 inches. You can make it shorter than this. It depends on your size anyways, all right? Okay. So this thing I'm doing now, we are supposed to do it before we join the shoulder and the sides, all right? So it's best to be done when you're yet to join the back and the front together. But it's still okay. I can do it very nicely. But just in case you want to add a belt to your dress, do it before you join the back and the front together for easy sewing, all right? Okay. So you're going to do the same thing to this other side of the dress, all right? You will turn it over and then do whatever I did here to the other side of the dress. Now, for the pocket, in order for this video not to be too long, there's a tutorial on this channel on how to cut pocket and also to sew it. I'm going to add that link to the description box so that this tutorial will not be too long, all right? Whatever method I used there, that is what I used for this dress. Follow it and you will get it correctly. To sew the belt to the dress, this is what you will do. You're going to open it up like so, all right? You're going to open it up like so, and then this is the length from this line here, which is the length, your shoulder to the under bust. So you have to place it like so from the under bust length, all right, the end of your bust, and then you will stitch it downward. Also following your under bust round measurement, you will stitch it just here, as you can see this chalk. place it like so. You use half inch to stitch it. You will do the same thing to the other side of the dress. So before we will sew this to the dress, before I will take it to the sewing machine to sew it to the dress, this is what you should do next. To the person that requested for this tutorial, the sample you sent to me, the front side is shorter than the back side. It's like high and low dress, all right? Now, to get that illusion of high and low, this is what you should do. And you're supposed to do this before joining the back and the front together, all right? Before joining the entire dress together. So I'm just going to show you, when you're doing yours, don't join the back and the front together. After you work on your drape, the next thing to do is to get that illusion in front, that shortness in front, all right? So to get that illusion of shortness in front of the dress, this is what you will do. So this is the entire dress, all right? What you should do is use your tape measure, mark the center of your dress. Mark the center of your dress. Whatever your center is from the sewing allowance, whatever your center is, you mark it there, like so. And then you pick it up like this, just the front and leaving the back. You pick it up like this. Anyways, when you're doing this, you're not supposed to join the back and the front together. So it's just going to be the front side of the dress. So you pick it up like so. All right. You pick it up like so. If you've joined the back and the front together, make sure that the side seam allowance align together like so. And then you lie it appropriately. That is, if you have joined the back and the front together. But if you are just working with the front alone, you also make sure that both sides lie appropriately, like so. And then you will take your tape measure, all right? Place it to your shoulder, to where you want the length at the front side of the dress to be. Whatever the length is, if it's 40, you mark it there. Then you will use your ruler to connect from this point, from the length in front, to meet the length, the back length, all right? Like so. So you're cutting it long, just like this one is, but you have to reduce the length in front, just like what I'm doing here. You get it? All right. So you draw it this way until you meet the length, all right? And then you will cut it. That way you will have the shortness that there is in that sample you sent to me. All right. So at this point, I'm going to take this dress to the sewing machine. I will sew the belt on both sides, and then I'll bring it back for you to see what it looks like. Thereafter, I will let us know what next to do. So guys, here we are. I have fixed the belt, and this is what it looks like. So this is one of it, and this is one of it. Now pay attention to how I fix the belt, because you're tying it to this direction, to the back, all right? So you can see how this is facing, and you're tying it to this direction. So when you're tying it, you bury this rough edge. It's covering like so to the back. The same thing to this other side, because you're tying it like this to the back side, and this way to the back side. All right. So The next information about this dress is that if you look at the sample, the round sleeve is actually big. So if that is what you want, while drafting the dress, make sure that your sleeves is bigger. All right. If it's 10, if it's 10 around here, you make it like 14 if that is how big you want it to be. It's just totally your choice on what you want. If it's a tight one you want, just like mine here, you work with your round sleeve. If it's loose one, then you also use whatever measurement you would want it to be. All right, guys, and with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If this tutorial is helpful to you in any way, please do give us a thumbs up. That is to say, like, subscribe if you have not done so yet. Share this video with friends as well who are in this field of career so that they will also get to learn. Thank you so very much, guys. Till I come next time with another educative, informative, and instructive tutorial. Bye-bye for now.